So then, we can walk and talk at the same time, right? And the same thing here. Nothing stops you from practicing um, and devoting yourself to what you do, and at the same time, checking into the desire and doing things or being open to the opportunity of a relationship, because it's very easy to fall into the premise of a spiritual practice and then kind of close yourself off unintentionally, even from from other things, because they may not be comfortable always. And here, uh, that's why we want to keep being open. Now, at the same time, nothing stops you from exploring, I mean, continuing your practice and not even looking, right? But just doing this inner search essentially for the something higher, for this other part of it. And like you said, like, magically out of the blue, people are going to get in touch with you. Suddenly it's like, hey, I have this, I have that, without you even having it to leave your house. It's totally normal. It's just, this is something to look at. So we haven't met for a while. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Um, I was thinking about all of the meetings that we've had over the weeks, the past weeks, and just everything that we're going through, the challenges and confusions on the personal level, on a societal level, with very high level of marital issues, especially after COVID. People to people stuck in one place, especially if they have little kids, is not always a good combination. You get to know each other from points of view that you may have never wanted to explore before, and here you are. And that led to a spike in everything from divorce to abuse and violence and anything you want and don't want to hear about. And I was thinking about, like, why are we going through such a challenging time? And um, you have this tilt almost on a social level. Everything seems to be so volatile, like the waters are churning and things are getting more confusing. And of course, it all has an impact on our relationships. And I think at the base of it is kind of our getting back to what counts for us, which is relationships. I think we were all kind of happier when we lived very low key, very, we had the house, we had the family, we had some basic responsibilities, but no pressure. The kids could play outside. We had a community that supported us. We had friends and family that we could come and visit. It was just a different level of connection between people. Now, here in the world of high tech, and we're meeting here on Zoom, and we're talking on Zoom, and we're Skyping with other people across the world. Um, I guess we're kind of um, at a point in our evolution, individually and I think collectively too, where we start asking the questions of, like, what is this all for? We're willing to suffer. We're willing to go through some challenges and some problems, but I think the question is, like, what's the point? And I think a lot of people that can't answer this question of what's the point are going through a lot of divorces and uh, personal challenges. And I think this question of what's the point, what is the reason for all of these challenges, I think is something that we need to answer. Um, and the point is, and maybe we can hear from you guys, like, what is the point, right? What are we looking to, um, what is the purpose of a relationship? That's a good question. What is the purpose of a relationship? Maybe we can start with Dan and then go around.
I think that answer has been very much broadened for me since we've been meeting. You know, I thought the purpose of relationship is essentially sex and children. That's basically it. Okay. But it's truly much more than that now. I'm not, it's not like a bumper sticker. I'm not bumper stickering this. Okay. Seriously, it is what you've shown me is, it makes me want to have a relationship with a woman on a totally different level. So when I look at women now, you know, I say it's not my type or whatever, right? But that's not actually the complete truth. When I'm looking at women now and I'm talking to women, it's a completely different kind of calculation. Um, because I want to, I realize that in order to get to this amazing place, this is what I need, right? So it's like, and this is what she needs, right? But they have to work together. They have to, you know, this is like a big deal, right? So if I want to get to this top of the pyramid type thing, whatever that may be for me, right? I need someone that's going to work with me, and I'm going to work with them and against each other too in the right way, maybe. Um, so yeah, that's the deal now. It's a lot more complicated, but a lot more fun, a lot more interesting now. Julian?
Thanks, Dan. I I agree with Danny in one thing. Maybe the first time that we thought is sex. Yes. And it's the first time, is the first thing that you attract to a woman, but it's more than that. Definitely, I think it's making things together, uh, build a life together, children's too, and definitely try to be happy. Yeah, try to be happy in all that path.
You're muted when you called him.
Is it me?
Yeah, then.
Okay. Thanks, Julian. Yeah, I didn't catch that you called on me. Uh, yeah, so I would say that it's all about completion. Just like, you know, we're in these groups, these study groups that we talk about not being complete in ourselves, but only in the group, you know. And I think it's similar in a relationship that we don't really reach completion as a person if we're not in a relationship, you know. And it's the same for the women, right? They need us to complete them, and we need them to complete us. And I would just echo what Julian said about togetherness and happiness. You know, it's like you want to be in a relationship for your both development. You know, the development of each person and the relationship as a whole. But if there isn't some enjoyment in it, you know, if it's going to be just 100% suffering, and you know, why be in it, you know? I Yeah, that's my take. Taco, how about you?
I mean, I guess I would say that for a long time, it seems obvious to me that a relationship is something that deals with the, human development, make each other human by being in a relationship. But I mean, it seems like I'm usually behind, or I'm coming from a place in my mind. And so what it's really about is highlighting the greater qualities of the other, and always having that opportunity at hand. So yeah, just to add. So Sasha.
Yeah, man. Relationships are scary too because you don't know what you're getting. Um, Sometimes it's a lot easier to kind of block it internally. For those who are single, at least, and to kind of be open, right? It's like you're telling people, well, I'm doing. Women especially like to do that. It's like, all men are assholes. It's like I would love to meet a nice guy, but they're all like assholes. And it's like, how can half of the world's population be assholes? You don't even know. And this is it's a very strong thing because our emotional state. Um, I'm gonna have to. Okay, our emotional state determines what we're willing to accept or work with, right? So if I have all of these like beliefs, right? Early beliefs or concepts. It's not preconditions. Um, but anyway, things that I believe about what a relationship is like, and it could be very negative beliefs. Like I could be looking at relationships in a very negative way from past experiences, right? What we went through in our family, what we experienced from friends and relatives, and have a very negative view of that. And what happens as a result is my brain says it's not worthwhile. Why would I explore something that's going to eventually be more work than it's worth? Let me be single. Let me, get what I get when I need it, and that's it. And we see that many people kind of, especially today, even women, prefer to just do that. Let us get what we need from each other and then go our separate ways. Because developing relationship is a very challenging and and painful process almost. And painful not because, physically painful, but because we have to open up this blueprint that we got as children and are carrying as adults of preconceptions of what the other side needs to be like and what I need to be like, and all of these frameworks that are kind of basically the box that I'm in. And we need to start digging and understanding what are the walls are made of, what are these beliefs that I believe in, what is blocking me from the right relationship, um, why am I believing these things? You kind of become your own psychologist in a way, um, or we can focus on the very single purpose of a relationship, which is for us to be together. That where we put all of this aside, all of these psychology, all of this psychology and all of this terminology and everything that we learn out there from the world, and just say, we need to be together. What does it look like to you? What does it look like to me? Because in this space that we're building for each other, this is a very special space. And so we essentially are becoming almost like the operators of each other. We get to learn what are some of the buttons, what are some of the things not to do, what are some of the things to do, how do we motivate each other, what am I striving for, how can she help me in that, where does she need help. We kind of put everything on the table and show each other our like blueprint, right? What are some of my beliefs, what are some of my things, where do I need help, where do I not need help, what is blocking me, what is not blocking me. And the woman will tell me some of the things that she feels I need to be improving in. And we can have a conversation. We can actually, in these conversations that we have together, we begin to build this future state, this future world of us being together, where now we may be fighting over all the little things, but in the future, because we don't want to be fighting, especially if we have children, we don't want to have them, that bad example As parents, we want them to see us getting along, but what do we need to do for us to get along? So we begin this discussion. In the meantime, do you guys have any questions? All right. And then when we discuss and we start building this future state of us being together, and we start feeling closer to each other, we begin to build certain agreements. We discuss some of the things that each of us needs um, in the relationship for it to succeed. We start acting out of this agreement of how we'd like to behave towards each other. And essentially, out of where we are, we begin to build the future state of being together. And then when each time through our regular conversations, we start revealing a higher degree of being together, maybe more challenges that come our way. But if our goal is always this place that is holy, and we call it's ours, like this is our together, this is where we put us as a family, and we put this purpose above everything. And so we don't discuss how do we need to get a house, or how do we need to, move into a different neighborhood, or how do we need to make more money, but we talk about how do we actually build an environment in our home where we feel closer to each other. How do I need to talk to you? How do you need to talk to me? How do I need to come home after work, for example? Do I smile? Do I talk nicely? Do I sound happy? Or do I need to come after work like I do right now, just pissed off and angry, and then it ruins the atmosphere in the home. So all of these little things you begin to discuss, and you start changing, not for yourself and not for the other partner either, but for this something third, something higher that you guys are building together. And this is the state of your place, your estate. And it's a living, breathing organism also, because as long as you have these regular conversations that you have scheduled, you'll find that you have new challenges that are coming up. You'll find that you have new obstacles in your way. You find that the picture that you had of togetherness before now needs a lot more effort to actually upkeep. It needs a lot um, more crystallization. You guys need to unite around it together. Her side, your side, maybe involve the kids in it. Um, so that's kind of what we want in our family, whereas what we get from the outside world is everything else, right? If you get a nice house, then you'll have a nice marriage. Your wife will be happy, and the wife comes home after a shopping spree with like tons of bags, and then she's still not happy, right? Still something's missing, and it causes more fighting. And there are tons of examples where we get things from outside that tell us that if only we got something, we'd be happy. And then we get something, and then we're still not happy. So defining what is this happiness, right? And going back to the root that happiness is just basically us being together. Where do we feel the happiest? When we have our closest people to us that we just enjoy spending time with. And then we sit together, we eat together, we drink together, we spend time together. And the family should be the beginning of this togetherness. It should be the very seedling, the root that springs from this state. It's kind of what I have for now. You guys have any questions, any comments?
Yes, Alex. It's difficult maybe when the your partner or couple is not in the same way, in the same plan, or in the same level. How to do uh, get interested about the that personal growth uh, to your couple. How you do that? How you can do that?
You're asking how to get your partner involved,
Yeah,
or
yeah, but
especially
basically,
if
yeah,
she's not
because
interested.
yes, it's not interesting in this thing.
So what does she want?
Mm, basically, she wants get the house running all okay and get the things that they she wants. I talk about material things. Um, I don't know, maybe and his family get well, a well family life, a good family life.
Hmm.
Basically, is this is that?
And what do you want?
I want to be happy, man. I want to be happy or more happy. I don't. I can't say that I'm not happy, but I would like maybe she get interested in other things or do other things different that I just told you.
Hmm. So from what you've tried in these exercises to kind of talk to her, do you still do that?
Yeah, of course.
Still
Keep
talk.
the things in peace. Talk a lot with her. I just practice all the things that you just told in the reunions, in the meetings, please.
Okay. Do you see any difference in your communication?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's not always, but the best part. Yeah.
So did you clarify? Because sometimes, you know, what does it mean to want a house? What she wants a house? She wants a different house, or what does she want? 'Cause you
No,
said
no,
she
no.
wants.
Uh, she wants the in the house. It's is all running way in good shape. Yeah. But basically is she she wants material things and not always we can afford it.
So sometimes we have to. Our role in the family, especially as men, is very versatile. Um, and sometimes we relate to our wife as a child. You have to explain it. Honey, this is where we are. This is our situation. I'd love to be able to give you more. I'd love for you to be, to have more. But this is what we have. I can't, mm, I'm doing the best that I can to keep our family where we are. And and definitely if I have an opportunity to give you more, I'll give you more. Because everything I do for you. And you can ask her a question. In the meantime, I want you to be happy, and I can't have you happy, if you're just upset because I can't get you stuff. So, and you can try different things too. You can be playful. You can, like, your wife, right? How long are you married?
7 years.
7 years. Yeah. So you guys know each other. You know what jokes you can say. You know how you can uplift her mood. You know what you can what you can give her, right? That it doesn't have to cost things. You can just, you know, that she like a certain type of chocolate, for example, so you can get her that type of chocolate. You know that she likes certain type of flowers, so you can get her these type of flowers. Her dream of wanting more is not really like if she had these little playful, I think, encounters, you'll see that her general mood would be more uplifted.
Okay, I can do that.
Can I add something here?
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you want something, you know, like a new car or whatever, um, it's not really the car itself that you're after. It's some feeling that the car gives you. So it's like maybe you want more respect, you know. So or maybe you want to just um, feel luxury, or I don't know, or fun, you know, or adventure. Some of those. So if you find a way to like provide those to your wife without buying the material thing, you know, it's like looking for what's behind the desire for the material thing, and trying to provide that for whatever that's worth.
Thank you, Ben.
And also, like Ben and Dan just shared in the beginning, um, suddenly out of the blue, somebody comes to them and says, "Hey, I have a lady for you." You know, where before that, it's like, where do you start? So there's something magical in the air, whether it's our connection to the universe or there's God or whatever you want to call it. But it works in a way that when we open up to each other, especially when a woman opens up to you, and good things happen. You can find work, you can find better work, you can start your own business, but better things happen. And it kind of starts by creating this positive atmosphere, right, in the home. Um, so as much as possible, you want her to be happy. So do little things that make her happy. Tell her how beautiful she looks. Try out these different things that will uplift her mood. Because even if she's not ready to talk to you about this higher level of connection and what it would look like for your family, you can do it. You can ask yourself, what would I need to do to make my wife happier tomorrow? Little things. And your brain will immediately give you answers. It will immediately tell you that you can send her a text message, or you can call, or you can, you can do this or this around the house. You can do this or that around the house, or you can give her a present. If you ask yourself these questions about little things, you'll see that you'll always have an answer. Anything else? Man, you guys are making it tough today. Um, Dre, just because you were missing, I'll update you a little bit on what we spoke, which was the creation of a higher level of connection in the family, where we kind of sit down and discuss each other's needs and what does this level look like. And I think we can all relate to it regardless of what we do, because us having positive relationship with people around us, I feel like it directly relates to us having success, period. Especially as men, if people like being around you, and they feel positive being around you, then they're more likely to think of you when an opportunity comes along, right? When there's a lady that is looking for a man, or where there is new work opportunity or whatever that is. You'll be the first person in their mind. And in general, it also enough scientific research has been done about people with more positive relationship are happier. So maybe we can do a quick workshop question. What what could you do to have a better relationship with somebody?
I can start off. Uh, I would say that maybe try to understand if your ego is in control of a situation, you know, where it's kind of feeding you stories that are just getting you fed up for the day, and it creates a heavy mood in the household. Ben?
So, yeah, thanks. You talked about, sitting down with someone, with your partner, and just clarifying like what your challenges are, what your likes are and your dislikes. And so I could get clear about that, even though I don't have a partner at the moment. I could really just get clear about that, about what I want out of a relationship. And, just to me, that starts to like carve out a space in my life where this person fits, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. That's just the sense I have, is that it's like creating this space in my life for this to show up by being clear about what it is that I want, and what my desires are, basically. How about
Thanks. You're still unmuted. It's all good. I would say that, through the advice of your friends, you're kind of aimed the right way a lot of the times, but it can be confusing and easy to use what you're told, as something with the other person, when in fact the other person actually has everything they need to have in the conversation and the situation with you. So I would say just be receptive of that. That's something I could do more, is be receptive of, the counterpart. Julio.
Thank you, Christopher. To make the other to other people happy, I think the first thing is put me in the other person's shoes. Yeah, find the things the other person likes and try to get things in common to do that things. I think that maybe is the things that I will do to make other person happy.
I don't know if Dan's able to share, but I had something else as well. A couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago, you asked me to make like a description of the woman I'm looking for, right? So I did that. And then I started like looking for those qualities in just the people that I meet. And, like maybe no woman I meet has all of the qualities, but I can start like noticing that, oh yeah, she's got beautiful eyes. That was on my list, or she's really relaxed. That was on my list. So just start looking for it in the people I meet around me.
Awesome, guys. And I had a direction for this too. Sorry, Fernando asked for the meeting ID and I got distracted. So to refocus, okay, you guys said some good things. What made me really think about it is when you were saying about thinking of the other person, getting into their shoes. You start thinking about their likes and dislikes. How many times do we actually think about somebody else's likes and dislikes, and the other person, and how to how to really connect to that person?
Yeah, that's why I kind of started with the ego. Seems like the egos are clashing, but at some point there's got to be some compromise, no?
So the interesting thing is, in the beginning of the relationship, we're all about it, right? Because we want the other person to like us. There's a certain euphoria in the air. I naturally spend time thinking about her, what she likes, what she doesn't like, how to uplift her mood, how to make her smile. What am I going to talk about? It just kind of comes naturally. But then as time goes by, we kind of get comfortable or uncomfortable, and we forget about everything we used to do because it requires more work. That person is now, you're used to him, he's yours, right? Or she's yours. And the thought itself requires more effort. So the question is, what happens when we start thinking about that other person? What do you guys, can you guys recall a time when you were thinking about, even if it was a meeting with somebody or a date or somebody in your life, like what happens in that process of thought? Let's run each other through it. Maybe we can get some tips.
I'll start real quick. I would say synchronistic things start happening, when you start thinking about the other person. And even then it's, we're not even aware of on what level perhaps. So, Andre.
Yeah, I would say along the lines of what Chris is talking about with, I guess there's some magic. Things just seem to flow naturally because that's probably the best part at the beginning is you actually do know yourself. You're like, I want to just impress. Whatever she says is good with me. You like fish? I don't like fish, but I'll take a bite. There's more. The beginning, it's like she's not mine yet, right? Julian.
When you do that, you feel the things flow normally, and everything is happiness, everything is okay. Definitely, and I'm very convinced that is the way that in certain times we have to act to make things better in the relationship. Ben, go to you, please.
Yeah, thanks for all your responses. I don't just. It's a good feeling to think that you might be bringing pleasure to somebody else, and fulfilling their wants and needs rather than it just being all about me. And yeah, I don't know. It's like it's really hard to stop thinking about myself, but when I manage to and think about the other person, it just really feels like a good feeling of like accomplishment or connection, togetherness, like that.
cool. The interesting thing is you actually manage to do all that thinking and you exert all of this energy and you actually manage to do something nice. What are we expecting?
Love, approval.
Yes,
We want the same thing back from them. We want their consideration of our needs and wants.
we just want them to appreciate it. Whenever we exert so much effort, especially, we, when, especially when you have to think about the other person and what she likes and to set up the atmosphere in such a way that she appreciates it. There is an expectation behind it that she's going to be impressed because you're doing it for her, so she should appreciate it, right? And then when she doesn't, it just crushes your world. And so here there is also a good way we want to handle it, which is again to be open and express ourselves. And after the fact, after you cool down and after the event has been gone, um, if there is no appreciation, you ask, did you like it? Did you like what I did for you? Was it good? If you didn't like it, how could I make it better? Because instead of getting upset, we kind of block ourselves. We put up a wall again. You guys hear me okay? Okay. Um, so because when we get upset at the other person for not reacting the way we'd like them to react, we we put a wall, right? Because we're not opening up about the situation. And so without them even knowing why we're upset, we're doing we're basically are pushing them away. And if we're approaching this like a researcher, because we want to have good relationship in the family, we want to have um, a good atmosphere in the home. After doing something nice, if you really put a lot of effort into it, especially, just ask, did you enjoy me doing this or that? Did you like it? And so she'll tell you yes, or she'll tell you no, but you're letting her know that her feedback is very important for you. That you're not just doing things because you wanted to do things. You're doing things for her. And if you're doing things for her, then her feedback is important. And so you're asking for her feedback. In this level of communication, you'll also know maybe it wasn't important for her that you wash the dishes. Stop washing the dishes. Maybe it wasn't important for her to, for you to give her roses. Maybe she wanted, I don't know, a hammer instead. Who knows? But it opens up a level of communication where you can actually find out. And then once you find out, you take your research a step further. But all connected around how can I create a better atmosphere in the home. This is very cool.
So Alex, you started the.
Hold on.
Oh,
I don't hear you.
can you hear me?
Sorry, 1 second. Right now?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're good.
Very poorly.
I can hear you okay.
But I don't think he can hear us. He's gonna change his. All right. What about now?
Nope.
You can't hear us?
Hang on.
There you go.
Yeah, we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we started our chat today, right, you brought up the fact that couples were going through very harsh times during the COVID, divorces, abuse, et cetera, right? So, and now you just brought up the fact that at the beginning the connection was beautiful. So how does a couple come back from such a detrimental behavior or environment in the house to find the trust that that connection is still there? Because the initial connection, it's already gone, the one from the first year, year and a half, right?
Hmm.
Now it's like you already know each other, and then you just went through this trauma. How do they trust that there's a new, to build a new connection after they've been beat up?
So there has to be a real decision for change, because you can't just say that, because there's something happens that when we do something like like a monster, right? Because we all know that monstrous instinct is in us. If you piss us off enough, we'll turn into just a wildebeest. There is such an aspect. But then after this is gone, it kind of scares us, because this wild thing, although it's a part of us, we don't like to show it off. um, so we kind of will get into a space that, let me appease you by assuring you that this monster is gone, but it's not gone. We all know that there's still a part of us, and it's a part of us that will always stay a part of us, that will continue to be there. The question is, how invested am I in learning how to control that beast, in learning how to put importance into my relationship? Because when I am actually putting my relationship in focus, what happens is, I energetically, I turn something into a part of me. This is why men like love working on cars, because when you invest so much time and effort into fixing a car, and some guys will intentionally get a broken down piece of junk just so they can fix it, because the whole process is like so appealing, and I understand it. But here it's the same thing. When you invest yourself in the same passion into your relationships, it will become so much a part of you that it doesn't go against you, it interests you. You are challenged by the relationship. You want to see how you can improve it and make it better. Um, so it's like the same thing. How can you prove the other person that you're not, you're committed? By showing that you're committed. How do you show that you're committed? So you want to keep all the good things as good things, but you also want to, here there's a very clear calculation of, I want to do for her regardless of what her response is, because her previous experience, which could have been very negative with me, left her with a belief that I'm a certain kind of person. So for me to do things a few times that maybe what she kind of wanted in the beginning isn't going to be enough. Like, this has to be the new norm, that I don't do because I'm expected a certain response from her, but I turn into this new person. I'm committed to this new version of myself that she can begin to trust again. Does it make sense? Because very often she's not going to want to trust you, because she has proof. What I'm talking about, she has, like, this new me, she has no proof. You can be full of shit as far as she's concerned. So here she needs a new set of data to be convinced after a certain period of time that this is the new you. And for you to trick her into thinking that this is the new you, is you have to become. really, this new you, this new version of yourself. So there's no trickery. You have to genuinely, kind of, and you can tell her about the process. You can update her about the process. You can be open about the struggles that you're going through. That will also generate some honesty points, because you're not just acting as if you just magically changed. You're showing her that you're actually going through a certain process to become somebody else.
I felt like he
That
was
makes
kind of asking generally too, but I think your answer still is a good answer. So
that really brings to mind my an experience that I had. I on occasion I would buy flowers for my wife, and one time I came home and gave her the flowers, and she kind of turned on me and snapped at me and said, "Oh, you think that's going to make things okay? You just buy some flowers and everything's going to be all right, you know?" And it's like she was probably looking for that consistency, whether no matter how she responded. But what I did was that I just turned away and said, "I give up." You know, it's like I can't. Here's the story I made up. I can't please her. I don't know what she wants. She won't tell me what she wants. I might as well just give up. And basically, that was a big mistake, because then that just created separation rather than her seeing that I was committed no matter what, and that I was going to maybe look for other ways to please her, or to do what she wanted. So yeah, that really sparked that memory for me.
One trick about the process that we're going through here, is take it into the future, because when you begin to compare in when you begin to like, basically when your vision opens up and you start seeing everything that you've done wrong in the past, um, it can be a very tricky thing, because then you start thinking, well, if I would have done something different, and there's no benefit in you being in the past, because the past happened exactly as it needed to happen for us to be where we are, and for us to continue, into the future and with the present, in the direction that we see fit. And we're going to still continue to do mistakes that in the future can, if only I knew, this, if only I knew, hindsight 2020, but it doesn't exist in reality. So I don't want us to get into this trap. Okay.
Great point. Thank you.
Um, One thing I'd encourage you, um, you married folk, one of you, um, is, and I don't know what situation you would need to create for this to happen, but have a heart to heart with her. Like, ask her, basically, you want to let, even you want to piss her off a little bit too, right? Because you want to open up, but by you opening up and letting her know how you feel in the relationship, it'll piss her off, because you're not allowed to feel. But through that, she will tell you what she really wants. Like, she'll tell you what she's pissed about in the relationship. So when you open up, like, don't expect her to appreciate it. If she does, great, and then you can have a conversation about how to continue, and some of the things that you're kind of expecting and wanting from her. But if she gets pissed off and says, then what's going to come out is the truth, right? How she really feels about certain things that are going on, whether it's you or whether it's the situation or whatever it is. And so write it down whenever you get a chance and really think about it. Because most of the time, whatever they describe as being the challenge, it stems from a certain level of uncertainty, right? It's kind of what occupies her mind the most, something that's shaking her balance. And then when you begin to think about that, and you begin to concern yourself about that, and you take that load on yourself, then you'll see that she changes completely, because then she doesn't need to worry about it. But it's the finding out that can be difficult, because they can tell you a whole bunch of stories, right, of what they want and this and that, but the real truth. So have a conversation and just be like, listen, I you don't want to talk to me. I'm trying to for us to have a good relationship. You know, I'm doing all of these things. I tried to help you with the kids. Like, what do you want? How are we married, or are we two separate people? Like, talk to me. I wanna hear you. You know, challenge her to it, and then she's a woman. She's gonna wanna talk to you. Cool. More?
I'm taking notes.
Good.
So how to aim for authentic conversations between us, instead of something, just general or kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah. How do you have an authentic conversation with somebody and generate kind of like what you were saying, that consistency behind the conversation, and not just, some obvious lack of attention or something like that.
Authentic conversation between a man and a woman, you gotta have some baggage, some coarseness in that relationship, right? Because then you can create some genuinity. If you're fresh, then really there is a choice of just let's create a good experience for each other. Um, then you can talk about different things. It can be philosophy, it can be just your view of the world and some of your dreams, and then her dreams, your experiences, her experience. But you'll find that to really go deep, you guys need to, there has to be that friction. Like, because when you have friction between you, then there is an opportunity to turn that friction into a deeper connection. And that friction usually comes when you're committed, when you get married, when you have kids, when you can't just run away. You have nowhere to run away, and then you are stuck to, you're kind of stuck to either figure it out or get divorced and break the whole family up, and it's not an option for many people. So we have to figure it out. If we have to figure it out, that we have to live with each other, and we have to, at least like each other. So let's figure out, what are these things? Like, what do I need to do for you to like me? At least.
Do you think it's possible to, like, maintain connections with women that you want a connection with, but not, on a relationship level? Is it possible to do both at the same time? Because I'm not saying I have a hard time keeping women away, but I have a hard time feeling like I might be letting someone down in a conversation, and I'm just trying to, build a connection between us.
So clarify your question again. Are you asking if you can be friends with women who you're not romantically interested in?
Yeah, on a serious level, while still having the capacity to, be thorough in a relationship with someone.
So men and women cannot be friends because you're not if you really look at your inventory of female friends, you're not gonna see a fat ugly chick with a great personality. She may be a great friend, but usually your female friends are sexually attracting. Um, your conversation with them is different than your conversation with your buddies because there's a little bit of flirt in there. Um, there is. Look, I mean, we're
Not to interrupt, maybe to help, just add a little context. Like, so this is very good so far, but it's like, for example, if I'm like putting out music and it draws a lot of compliments and attention and personal messages from women, and I feel obligated to, you know, correspond with these people,
Mhm.
but I don't want to, do anything conflicting. So, but yeah, continue. Sorry.
Well, no, in that case, it's not a relationship, right? It's just somebody who's complimenting you on your work, it's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're not making friends with everybody who's complimenting you on your work, right?
Usually not. Yeah.
So, you guys ready to finish this? Let's maybe do a quick. Any other questions? Go ahead.
This could be for next time, but I was just wondering, in this day and age where we have a lot of social isolation and we're encountering like one of the main, maybe the only way to meet somebody is online. So I'm just wondering if there's any hints or suggestions you would have to undergo that process of like interacting online. And I guess it also brings up a question about long distance relationships because
I'll tell you a story
is it
about.
possible?
I'll tell you a story about a friend of mine. Um, he lives in New York, um, and there was some Congress in a different country, and so he went to that Congress, and through there was like a group of us, right? So through some, I'll try to recreate that how it happened, but basically a lady who lived in Holland, approximately his age, and she asked a lady who knew him, also from New York, if there are suitable men that she could recommend um, for her. And so what happened is a friend of a friend of a friend, and they ended up just coming together, and now they're married, and now he's moving to Holland. Now that was pre-COVID, but what I'm saying with this is I will never get anything in my life that I'm not ready for. And I will never be able to push something away regardless of the consequences of the situation if this is something that I need for my progress. So what I'm trying to tell you with that is don't focus on the barriers of what could possibly work or not work, what could possibly, you know what I mean? Like what I want to focus on is what will it do for me to be in this type of relationship? Am I open to it? Am I close to it? If I am close to it, why am I close to it? Why do I come up with all of these different reasons for why it could be challenging or why it couldn't work? Because I want to get to the bottom of, is there something inside of me that is preventing me from getting it?
That helps. Thank you.
Cool, man. All right, guys, really appreciate you all for being here. If you have any suggestions about what we should talk about for our next meeting, I'd love to hear that. If you have some friends to invite, let's invite them. We may also decide to take a break for some time from the live meetings. I'll still share some videos if I do some videos on a regular basis, but so for now, let's have another meeting and we'll see how it goes. All right,
Awesome.
guys.
It was awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you, Alex. Really,
See
really
you
great.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
You.
Alex. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.